Kia ora, no mai, haere mai, tulufalava, malo ole, kia rana. Welcome to a couple of development matches here being played between the New Zealand development side and the Australian development side. Courtesy of Bev's Broadcasting. My name is Bevin Jenkinson. Got Zion in behind camera today for this, so thank you to Zion, who's travelled about half an hour away in traffic. It's almost like I'm back in Auckland if you're having to travel twice the amount of usual time. Sit back and relax. We have some good running rugby. The Australian development side took out the 2023 Nationals tournament. But congratulations to D-Sport Waikato, who, courtesy of making the final against Australia Development, won the Nationals title. On court it looks like for New Zealand we have Jacinta Richardson, the 3.5, Mike Todd and Robbie Hewitt 2s, and Gareth Lynch, the 1. And meaning they've got an 8.5 lineup. Of course, the limit of points you're allowed per team is 8, but because there's a female on court, you get an extra 0.5 for every female. For Australia, you've got Jordan Jackson, Squiddy, Double J, and Jaden Jackson, Braden Foxley Connolly, Shay Graham, and Ruby Gallagher, 3-5, 2-5, female, 1 female, and Jaden Jackson, the 2. Lloyd White and Tasman Haynes, the 2 referees for this one, from Australia. Lloyd originally being born in West Auckland though, so he does claim to be a Kiwi. Here at Cowells Stadium in Christchurch. Let us know in the comments, folks, who you're supporting, where you're tuning in from. It's development. Score doesn't overly matter, it's more about the experience and all that, as Braden Foxley's going to win this. And they're going to open up the try scoring for Australia. 1-0. Mike Todd with ball and inbound. 10 seconds to bounce or pass. I will try and get to the comments in the live stream as Hewitt and Todd with the give and go. 12 seconds to get over half. Count coming in. Gets over to Robbie Hewitt, who's over the halfway mark now. Richardson doing some blocking. Some big hits coming in. Ball over the Lynch. And it's the first turnover of the game and a bit of a falcon as well. Highlights and bloopers reels still to come with from Nationals. And there will be some of those from this match as well. From these 2 matches. 12:30 is the second game. Gallagher and Jaden Jackson. Ball down to Braden Foxley Connolly. Just tips it on for himself. And makes it 2-1. Todd and Hewitt and Toddy, they are 2 New Zealand wheelback players. Actually, there's 3 wheelbacks players on court at the moment. Jacinta Richardson, the only player who hasn't played for the New Zealand team. Hewitt, Todd trying to find a hole, can't. On that corner, he's got to get out of that key though. You can only spend 10. You can't spend more than 10 seconds. And there's a get out of jail free card being used there. A 30-second timeout. One of the few sports in the world, I think water polo is one of the others that you can call timeout while the ball's in play. I'll go back to the bench for 30 seconds. Joe Waite and Greg Mitchell, the 2 coaches, just having a chat. Joe Waite, the experienced player himself, being told by Levi Mihaka, who's on the bench there for New Zealand, that he's still a very fit player, very fit person. 2004 gold medalist with the New Zealand World Blacks. Ball down to Richardson and it's a turnover. Richardson just bunted out of court. And Graham will give it to Foxley Connolly. Shay Graham, the World Wheelchair Rugby Athletes representative. So they've got 30 seconds to score here, the Australians. Foxley Connolly trying to find a hole. Can't. Goes around to the right. Gallagher trying to make a hole for him, and she does. Foxley Connolly goes over for his third. 3-1. Todd and Richardson with the give and go. Gets over half. Jaden Jackson not stopping ball to Hewitt. And Hewitt will score his first of the game. Make it 3-2. Good morning to you, Leo Hoffman, who's tuning in, as well as Deborah Ward, supporting Sarah. I'm assuming some relation, Deborah. All I've got is mum and sister, as well as best friend, that Sarah's giving a shout out to, would like a shout out to on the live stream. As Foxley Connolly gets his fourth. Richardson and Lynch. Lynch having it right on the front of his pick bar there. Reaches down, picks it up. There goes the first tyre of the game. Play on is the call though. No player having called it. And now there is the call for a puncture. As I was saying to Zion, who's watching her first game of wheelchair rugby today behind camera for me, there is really no mistaking the puncture, is there? you can hear that, just that loud hiss. It was Foxley Connolly taking the first puncture. Good morning to Amanda Foxley Connolly watching from Brisbane, and Christina McCulloch tuning in from Australia, watching Scotty. Assuming Amanda's not just watching the Australian team, but also Braden. But I know both of you were tuned in over the weekend, which is great to see. There with Todd. Todd getting off Foxley Connolly. No one high at the moment for the Kiwis. Still development team. Good little tap on there. No, it's not. It's a turnover for Foxley Connolly. Thought that might just set up for Todd all right, but it didn't. And Braden goes through and scores. 5-2, the Australians leading. As Todd getting off Scotty and around Jaden. Makes it back to a 2-point ball game, 5-3. Pleasure to have your company, folks, if you are tuned in. Bevin Jenkinson of Bev's Broadcasting. As Todd gets a turnover, just tips the ball on, and Hewitt picks it up instead. Patience is the call from Jai Waite. And ball up and over to Lynch. 1-point ball game, 5-4. Talking to Jai Waite the other night, he was not too concerned about the score, the margin, and that is Squiddy pops the ball over, and timeout being called there by Braden Foxley Connolly, as they're struggling to get over halfway. Some good defence being shown by the Kiwis. So, timeout is over. Back on court. Good morning also to Heather Daly, auntie of Jacinta Richardson from Ashburton. You know, the person watching over the weekend. Online and in person. See New Zealanders New Zealand development side wait down in the key, and Foxy Connolly goes through, scores. Just when it's down there, just trying to make sure that we block on the stream. This bit here is blocked. And it's 6-4. Lynch chasing the ball down court. Lynch up back to Todd. Mike Todd from Canterbury. Lynch from Tamaki Makoto, Auckland. Now I've got 20 seconds to score at the moment. Lambert can't stop him. Lambert on court. The three-pointer. 7 appearances for the Australian side, for the Australian Steelers. 6-5. Ball there from Liliana Pritchard, who's also on court. Down to Foxy Connolly, and Foxy Connolly goes court side, or broadcast side, sorry, and will score.
What do you mean by not leaving up?
So that's the scores up there. So I just say make sure that you just try and take the camera up a little bit.
What's up?
Like you're fine now. There was just a one little moment.
Okay.
It's all good. 7-5 with 3:40 left, and a timeout being called. Both teams using timeouts early and having to because some tight defence. See, second one from New Zealand. 4, and Australia Development have used 1. Just a reminder, these aren't the top representative teams from either country. They're both development sides. Robin Lambert, who is still on court, first non-binary athlete to win a Paralympic medal, won at the T34 Women's 100 metre event at Tokyo, and also one of 3 non-binary athletes to compete for the first time. As Nathaniel Tairi's on court. So is Alexander. Alexander ball down to Hewitt. Drag race with Lambert. 2 and a 3 on each other. Richardson caught down in back court. Alexander. And Keenan Alexander gets a penalty try. And it's back to a 1-point ball game, 7-6. Pritchard from Perth, living in Perth in Western Australia, plays the Western Australian Enforcers. Ball down to Lambert. Collision in there from Richardson. Lambert still with ball. Now gives it off to Foxley Connolly. And Foxley Connolly goes through. So just here, like that, it's just to be tilted up a little. Yep. And it's 8-6. Just under 3 to play first period. Hewitt with the ball, and he'll call a timeout. And just struggling to get over halfway at the moment. As I said, the result doesn't matter, but in this game, but just working in strategies and getting players out there the experience. Rooming with Levi Mihaka, he was absolutely stoked to be able to have his first big representative role in sport. In his third year. Keenan Alexander, who's wearing the number 4 for New Zealand, voted the best development player of 2023 Nationals that have just been over the weekend. Ball from Hewitt to Richardson's a good one. Then back to Hewitt. Alexander pushing. Foxley Connolly over him. Lambert's there. Taieri trying to come down and help out the 0.5. And he's going to do some good work there. And Hewitt scores. 8-7. Now there with Lambert. And up and over. And it's a backcourt violation being called from Tasman Haynes. Good morning to Tasman's mum, Pieta, if you're watching, Pieta. Or even if you're watching back, I hope you're well. Both live in Sydney. Backcourt violation working the same as basketball. Once you come into your front court, you can't go back into your backcourt, and that's what happened there. Richardson looking, and some brilliant work off the ball from Alexander. Just pushing the Australian players out of the way, and it's a tied game, 8 apiece. Foxley Connolly pushing down court. The score's pretty much untouched there. .154 left first period. Hewitt's just not finding support at the moment. Gets there, it's over the top of Alexander, and that ball is going to roll out. There's more pressure being shown by the Australian defence. I'd see that Pieta, you are watching, that's great to see. Figured you would be. Tasman going for her international referee's licence. And it's 10-8 now. The Australians lead. Hewitt looking for Richardson. Finds her in the centre of court. Prucher and Foxley Connolly forces her back. Goes round. Ball down to Hewitt. It's a push on. Lambert and Foxley Connolly though going to ensure that that ball goes out. And another turnover. Just panicking a little bit here, the New Zealand development side. Now with Braden. Braden scores 11-8. Keep the comments and questions rolling in, folks. We'll get round to them eventually. Ball's down there to no one. And it will trail out. Big thanks to the sponsors and supporters this week, today and the weekend. Direct Group Uniforms, Christchurch City Council, Lynn River, Four Winds Foundation, Melrose Chairs, Parafed Canterbury, Small Sports Events Fund, and the supporters and sponsors of all the New Zealand regional teams do an amazing job to ensure teams can get out there and play the sport. Trying to force Foxley Connolly over, and Foxley Connolly finds Lambert anyway. Hewitt looking, gives the ball down to Alexander. Alexander turns, but is going to sit there for Lambert. And yeah, no, fair enough, that is an illegal use of hands. You can touch the ball, but you can't touch a player's arms. Is basically the easiest way to explain that. That's why the first penalty of the game goes against Kenan Alexander. Sits in the penalty box for either a try from Australia or 1 minute of game time. Wheelchair rugby, it's 4 8-minute periods, and because it's stop clock, it lasts probably another hour than longer, with stoppages, timeouts, times between between the periods and all that. As we're just waiting, Lloyd White just signalling to Tasman about something. I've got a funny feeling it might be just a player that's on the bench that's not actually playing in here. So just a bit of game management, that is. Something that both referees talked about at breakfast this morning. I was sitting there with them at Joe's Garage in the CBD. About 10 minutes away from here. Braden Foxley just winding down the clock at the moment. There's count coming in. New Zealand don't want 2 in the bin. And Braden scores with a second left in the first period. The next and last domestic 2023 tournament is the Low Pointers New Zealand National Championships, 16th and 17th of September. Unfortunately, due to other commitments, this won't be live streamed, sorry. I'll be off to Taupo. But that is it here at the end of the first period. It is Australia Development 13 leading New Zealand 8. Alright, welcome back. Second period action. It is 13-8. I see Glenn Goff tuning in. Great. It is great to have murder ball, as it was originally coined, back on. Susan Fawcett. I'm not surprised, Susan, that you are supporting the Australians. Been 179 games for the Australian Steelers. Just saying to the video analysis guys, when did he go here? Because in Japan, for Asia Oceanias, he didn't have hair. I don't think we've ever seen him wear hair, to be honest. Have hair. His hair on the beard, of course. As Liliana Pruchard steals it. And the first try of the second period goes to the Australians, Foxley Connolly. Lynch, Richardson, Todd and Lloyd on court for the New Zealand development side. The Australians, you've got Foxley Connolly, who's just turned that ball back over, Jaden Jackson, Bo Vernon and Liliana Prucha. $15-8. Dylan Lloyd, the two-pointer from Dunedin, Otago in the deep south. About a 4-hour drive here. Foxley Connolly bullying. And timeout called. So he was pushing Lloyd over. So I said you can't, once you enter the front court, your front court with the ball, can't enter the back court with it. And that's what Foxley Connolly was trying to force there. But the last time out being called from the New Zealand development side. Bevin Jenkinson with you of Bev's Broadcasting. Pleasure to have you wherever you are in the Motu, the land. Whether it's Aotearoa, the West Island of New Zealand, Australia, or around the world. big shout out to L. Exton Photography, who's here today. You can find her on Facebook and Instagram, as Todd's just been forced out of court with the ball over the top of him. So it's another turnover. Preacher will give it to Foxley Connolly. L is in the letter. Alpha Lima. EXTON. EXTON Photography. Facebook and Instagram. Posted some lovely photos from the weekend. And as I said, she's here today as well. I've seen. So I'm sure she'll post some videos in time. 16-8. The lead is now double. Richardson off to Todd. Todd has it and has all the court to himself. Some good work there being shown and some good patience by the New Zealand side. 16-9. See Julia Pinn tuning in. Also Lincoln Commando Stewart as well. Commando, due to his magnificent role that he did while refereeing, tripped over and got back to his feet all in one, so nicknamed him with his permission, of course, Commando. There's some good work there being shown by Australia on attack, but New Zealand as well in defence. And we have a contact warning. Just waiting to see who that is. And it's gone against Bo Vernon. You're allowed one contact warning per half before the whistle. Next one will go in the bin if Australia calls it again. There with Todd. Todd with ball. Now down to Richardson. Preacher and Jackson on her. But gets away anyway. And scores. 17-10. 10 o'clock. New Zealand time, local time. Foxley Connolly has it. Off to Jackson. Double J. Eminem because of his hairstyle. And Scotty. Number of nicknames. As Foxley Connolly scores his 16th, 18-10. He's on Low Point Nationals at ASB Stadium in Te Aomuru. About 20 minutes south of Hamilton, Kirikiriroa. And a couple of, not this weekend coming, but the weekend after that. The New Zealand development team back on in the key. Other than Richardson, who's been trapped down court. She gets free. So it's Foxley Connolly and Jackson. As Foxley Connolly goes up, top of that right screen, top of the screen there on the right hand corner. 19-11. Todd with it working. Ball down to Lloyd, Dylan Lloyd. Now back to Mike Todd. Todd turns around and sets up. Asking Lloyd and Richardson to do some work. She's looking for Richardson to give the ball to. He does. 3.5 from Dunedin. Plays for. There's a count coming in. It's loose. It's off. Everybody. And we're just going to wait and see what the call is here. It's come off Australia definitely. But just need to see whether the 40-second shot clock needs to be reset or not. as it has expired. Referees are just conferring there. And the call is that it's a reset. Australia gained possession of it and then lost it, is the call. So the extra 40 seconds here for New Zealand to score. It's a legal player leaving the court. And looks as though Fixley Connolly going to be the second player in the bin. So New Zealand with a numerical advantages, I should say. And Todd scores, so Bevin back on court. And it's 19-12. Jaden Jackson going round. As Dylan Lloyd spilled over. Tilted up a bit. Yep. Sure he'll be okay. Makes you think. He said on the weekend, he commentated with me at one game. He said he's never fallen over before in a game. So first time for everything, they say. Last Australian goal making it 20-12, 4:07 left in the second period, first half. Lloyd looks okay to carry on. Let's see with Todd. Todd off to Richardson, but it's come off Jaden Jackson. So it'll still stay with New Zealand.
Sorry.
What did you do?
I was too busy watching.
It's alright, Zion, we're all allowed one mistake in our life, and that was yours. Sorry, one mistake per day, I should say. As I've said, Zion, you've helping me out today, so that's really appreciated. Benjamin Fawcett and Shea Graham back on court for the Australians. Bo Vernon and Pooch are off. Todd has the ball. Todd skirting with the sideline. Back to Richardson, 20 on the shot clock. Now back to Todd. 3-on-1. Gives it to Lloyd, and Lloyd scores. Played for Canterbury on the weekend, who unfortunately went the whole weekend without a win. But they did play well at times together as a unit, the Canterbury Chargers, from Otatahi here in Christchurch. As Jackson makes it back to an 8-point ball game. Richardson moving it up. Just at the top of the basketball key there. You can see the yellow line. Trying to go in that left-hand corner. 20 on the try clock left. Now coming right, getting around Fawcett. Wackadoo coming on Shea Graham. His ball is there. Four in the key going against Australia. And the player of the bin will be the last player that's into the key. And waiting on confirmation. No, it's a penalty try given. And there'll be an equipment timeout called on Graham. No maximum number of timeouts for equipment, but you do have a minute to change it. Otherwise you need to substitute the player or call a 60-second timeout. Foxy Connolly just moving it slowly up court, as they're entitled to. And here with Jackson, and Jackson scores. 2 minutes 30 left. And another one for Graham. That's good hard. And another turnover here for Australia. They've gone bang, bang, bang. And a coach's timeout being called by the New Zealand side. There's 3 very quick goals as the margin now into double figures. And that's that first of the 260 timeouts that Jai Waite has. It's called there. There with Richardson. Wheelchair rugby played by people with a deficiency in three limbs, whether that most are quadriplegics. We have amputees, brain deficiencies, as Mihaka coughs it up, gives it to Graham. And plenty of other reasons too for why someone in wheelchair rugby is able to play. The difference between wheelchair rugby and wheelchair basketball is that wheelchair basketball is a paraplegic sport, whereas rugby is a quadriplegic, basically. Is the easiest way to understand that. Players who tend to play wheelchair basketball have more function. Mihaka, his first court time in this game. Same with Sarah Ward, who's on court. A .5, and Mihaka goes for a spin. It's a holding foul even that's gone against Mihaka. He's reached out instinctively to break his fall, causing a holding foul. And it appears as though Tasman Haynes, who was in a good position to see that, says the hit was fine, but not the falling player. Greg Mitchell just checking that Levi Mihaka's okay. He was my roomie for the weekend, driving back to Dunedin, where he's just moved to last week. As Jackson scores. It's an 11-point ball game with 1:28 left in this half. Richardson, who's been on court for the whole time, still developing her game. Turns around and comes back out. And Sarah Ward's just gone out of court, and it'll be a turnover. Unless it's a serious foul, you can't have a ball turned over and have a player on the bin. You can only have that one penalty as such. As we count down towards the last minute of this first half. I try and add a bit of wit, Christina, to my commentary. It's very dry at times. But like, what do you get when you cross a sheep and a kangaroo? Any ideas, Zion? A woolly jumper. As Richardson moves it down. A hit coming in from Jackson, and another illegal player leaving the court. This time it's an Australian player, and a penalty try awarded. 26-15. Margin back to 11. It's Foxley Connolly looking to wind down that clock. And 4 on the key, going against looks as though it might be Jacinta. Is that? No, it is going against Sarah Ward for 4 on the key. So, defensive team can't put all 4 players in the key. That's what that is, and it's either a penalty try or a player on the bin. This time it's a player on the bin. On the opposite side of that, the attacking team can't have a player spend 4 seconds in there. As Foxley Connolly scores, which releases Ward, playing for Manawatu, or from the Manawatu, playing for them as well, and studying a bachelor's degree in social work at Massey University. As that'll be it for the second half, after the first half. Game 1 of this development series. Game 2 tipping off at 12:30. It is Australian Development 27 leading New Zealand Development 15. Welcome back. Third period action. Game 1 of the development series here between the Australians development side and New Zealand development. There's the Australians 27-15 at the moment, and it's 4 on the key. Going against Mike Todd, Carter, Hewitt and Alexander on court for the New Zealanders. Lambert, Graham, Jackson and Prucha for the Australians. Bevin, Jenkinson of Bev's Broadcasting, good to have your company, folks. Let us know in the comments who you're supporting, where you're tuning in from. Any questions or comments? I'll get round to them at some stage. Always appreciated. Alexander picks it up off the front of his chair. Fighting with Jackson. Ball there to Hewitt. No timeouts left with New Zealand. You're going to have to fire it. As it's come loose. There with Graham now. Graham turning the ball over for Australia. Lambert's 7 appearances for the Australian Steelers. Scores her second try of the game. Todd has it. Todd fighting with Graham and Jackson, sorry. Now with Hewitt originally from Te Araha. Now there with Todd. Back to Hewitt. 3 seconds left on the try clock. And he'll throw it, but that'll be the 40-second violation. Got 40 seconds to score a try once it's touched on court. And you can also use a timeout just to reset things there. The problem is, New Zealand have used all of theirs. So Preacher will have the ball back in the first quarter of the court. And Graham, first Australian female player to make the top side. Makes it a 15-point margin, 30-15. Just a reminder, it's a development series, folks. The score doesn't overly matter. It's all about these combinations, giving players more of an experience and developing more skills at a higher level. As Todd scores New Zealand's first one of the period for New Zealand. 30-16. Graham there with Lambert. Jackson just tapping it on. Now then to Graham again, and Graham will score. Big weekend of New Zealand sport coming up this weekend. Well, Australian sport, I suppose, as well. As Lambert gets a turnover. Bit of a tap there from Alexander. Hewitt chasing. Ball over. Not going to... Jackson in no position to catch that. And New Zealand will have the ball from the side. Of course, Saturday morning, the 2023 Rugby World Cup kicks off. First game of the tournament at 7 a.m. New Zealand time. With the Kiwis, with the All Blacks, taking on France in Pool A action. The other big moment of New Zealand and Australian sport, of course, this weekend. NRL playoffs. Saturday afternoon, 5 p.m, I believe, is the kick-off time for the Warriors taking on the Penrith Panthers in a prelim final. And ball is loose. There with Hewitt. Hewitt has Preacher and Lambert on him. Hewitt dummies. Now gets the ball over to Alexander, and Alexander juggles but gets there. Robbie Hewitt, one of the two co-coaches as well as players for the New Zealand Wheelbacks national side. Adding a bit of depth to this development side as well. There's Graham, ball down to Squiddy. Squiddy will score. 33-17. If you're watching the live stream on Bev's Broadcasting, there's the pinned comment has the link to the New Zealand Wheelchair Rugby Give a Little page. New Zealand Wheelchair Rugby is a registered charity and relies on the kindness of donations and sponsors So if you're able to help out, the link's on the Bev's broadcasting page. Otherwise, go to givealittle.com and search New Zealand Wheelchair Rugby. Any and all donations greatly appreciated as Hewitt scores his fifth one, 33-18, and Todd just gets his hand in the way but can't collect it. As Bevin coming onto court for Liliana Pritchard, Sam Fitness from Bay of Plenty, and Jacinta Richardson on court for Mike Todd and Anthony Carter. As the ball down to Graham, Alexander giving chase. Alexander as Hewitt helps, but can't stop Graham from scoring. Had a bit of a chat to her after one of the Australian games at Asia Oceania. Lovely lady, Shay Graham. Shows that on the interview that I did. You can find that on World Wheelchair Rugby's YouTube channel, along with Nathaniel Tairi's interview I did after he made his first international tournament at that same one back in July. If you saw articles, a couple of articles, the before and after article, as well as Lambert scores their second. The half-time, full-time scores. That was all me. That was all my work. Give and go with Fitness and Hewitt. Ball down. Richardson having to push a few times. Gets around Vernon. And it's 35-20 now. New Zealand doing well to keep with this well-drilled Australian team. Greg Smith and Jason Lee's part of the 2012 London Paralympic gold medal winning team. Ball there to Jackson, and Jackson will score. Richardson, ball over to Hewitt. Hewitt pops the ball over to Alexander. Gets it over halfway. At least there with Richardson, who's juggling it. Ball's come off Fitness's pick bar. Graham does well. She peels away out of the ball. Peels her way away from the ball. Makes sure it doesn't come off her pick bar as well. The Australian ball from the side. Excuse me. As it's a foul going against Robbie Hewitt. Wearing his favoured number 10 on his singlet. And then it's illegal use of hands that he's been pinged for. Just noticed that the Australian Cam Whitaker, who played for Canterbury over the weekend, he's operating the 30-second clock. The 40-second clock, I should say. He lost a lot of weight on Saturday night. Paid for the entire Canterbury team's dinner when they went out. So he lost a bit of weight, as I put it. said, well, we'll have to let him back in the country if he's inclined to do that sort of thing. 36-21 as Richardson scores her fourth. Which is probably a lot more than fourth now to think about it. Did deny it adamantly though that was just a rumour, but I've heard it from enough people to know that it's true. Big thanks to Zion today, who's operating my camera for me. Means I can do the score and the time, as well as the commentary. Richardson, just out in front of her own key, gets around. Richardson, ball off to Hewitt, and it'll be a 12-second violation. And it'll be Australian ball. Jackson to Lambert. Lambert making sure to remember to bounce. 10 seconds to bounce or pass the ball. As Lambert goes through, Hewitt fitness, and Alexander couldn't stop him. As the ball's come off the front of Graham's chair, and it'll be turnover ball. No, sorry, it won't be turnover ball. It'll be still with New Zealand. Australians looking for a turnover there though. Almost had it. 1:42 left on the clock. Third period. Game 1 of the 2-game development series. Game 2 tipping off at 12:30. As Richardson scores another. 38-22. Australia showing their dominance in this game so far, but the New Zealand development side doing quite well. First time that they've really played together as a team. They had a 6-hour training session yesterday. Ball there to Jackson, and Jackson scores his fifth. 39-22. There's Hewitt with ball. Hewitt just getting over halfway. There was Richardson. Fitness trying to do some blocking for her. Richardson getting around Lambert. Can't get around Jackson. Richardson going in and going up and down with Lambert. And it is a 10-second violation. Going against Keenan Alexander for being 10 seconds in the key. And Australia back with the ball with 44 seconds left. There with Graham. Graham stopped by Alexander, gives it off to Lambert. Lambert looking for their options. And there with Jaden Jackson. In 40-22. Jaden Jackson's been with the development side before. Australian development side. Off his first radio as Hewitt crashes through. Loose there. And Vernon will pick it up with 10 seconds left. Graham looking to hold it up on Richardson. Ball there to Jackson, and Jackson can't hang on. And with 2 seconds to go, New Zealand will have the ball. This is an equipment timeout called on Lambert. Amazingly, we've had no timeouts in this period. That being technically the first one. The Australians going back in the key. 2 seconds to go. I think New Zealand will just hang on to this. They will. Hewitt throws it up, and that'll be the end of the third period. 18-point margin the Australian development side have. 40-22. We'll be back for fourth period action very shortly here at Cowells Stadium in Otatahi, Christchurch. Alright, welcome back to Cowells Stadium, game one of the development series here, of two-game series being played today. 12:30 tip-off of the other one. One will be live streamed and commentated by Bevin Broadcasting. As New Zealand get the first try of the game. Just had someone ask me what are the numbers on the back of chairs signify. It's the classification number. Some have them, some don't. Mostly international players have them. It's a new regulation that they've brought in. As we have a third puncture of the game. First one was early and it was quite a loud hiss. Actually, no, it doesn't look as though it's a puncture. Just as though it is, sorry. Yeah, so the number you see on some chairs there, you can see 1.0 for Gareth, and Mike Toddy's just turned around as a 2-pointer. Those are the classification. The lower the number, the less function a player has. Now the 4 players on court, you're only allowed a total of 8. Braden is the highest. Has the highest classification number that you can have, which is 3.5. But for every female you have on court, you're allowed an extra 0.5. So technically, Australia, if they could, they can run a 9.5 lineup because they've got three females. Wheelchair rugby, one of the few sports where you're allowed where males and females compete physically. As Lynch just can't get it and turn over. It's great to see. Australia have got 5 females in the development side here. And they've run a all-female lineup a number of times. Is ball up and over halfway. Even though it is giving the ball back to the Australians, you'd rather them have it back deep in the court than at the front. And Braden Connolly makes it 4-1 for the period. As Hewitt juggles, doesn't pick it up, but it's come off Braden. And some substitutions coming on for New Zealand development. Jacinta Richardson and Dylan Lloyd, both Otago players. Hewitt and Mihaka coming off as the Australians call for a timeout. 60-second timeout. Jason Lee's having a bit of a chat. Reminder that the second game between the two sides will be on live on both New Zealand Wheelchair Rugby and Bev's Broadcasting Facebook pages. Tipping off at 12:30 on a different link. Alright, that 60-second timeout being used there with Todd. Todd gets over halfway, gets trapped though by Prucha. Liliana Prucha from Perth. Todd bounces. Has 20 seconds on the try clock. And scores. 43-24. Second try for the New Zealand development side this period. And ball will go out. Still stay with Australia though. There's a bit of a giggle there from Lloyd White. Realising that Tasman Haynes might not have started to walk away actually without even blowing the whistle. Twigged onto it anyway. Ball there with Foxley Connolly, and Foxley Connolly makes it look easy sometimes. His roll is a 3.5 though. Margin now 20, 44-24. There with Todd. Todd looking for support with Richardson, gives it to her. They're still over half. Still in the back half. Lloyd pushing. Foxley Connolly. He's going to knock the ball out, so it'll still stay with New Zealand. Murder ball originally created in the 70s for quadriplegics. Realise though that you can't really promote a sport with murder in it, so changed it to wheelchair rugby or quad rugby, depending on which part of the world you live in. Great documentary, folks, if you want to watch it. Oscar nominated. It's about the Americans and Canadians battling it out in the lead up to the 2004 Athens Paralympics. Canada and the US did medal in both of those. Did both medal at that Paralympics. Canada with the silver. USA with the bronze. New Zealand though, they got the gold. 45-25. Margin still 20. And now it's come out of court. And the Australian ball. Been a pleasure to have your company, folks, wherever you have been. Over the weekend, I'll be heading back tonight to Tamaki Makaurau, Auckland. Tamaki Makaurau, for those of you unaware, the Māori name of New Zealand's largest city. Before heading back to my place in Paeroa tomorrow morning. An hour and a half at the bottom of the Coromandel. Famous for its soft drink. It's Todd pushing up, gets over half, ball down there to Richardson. Richardson, Lynch, Lloyd and Todd on court. For New Zealand development, and you got Foxley, Connolly, Gallagher, Lambert and Prucha for the Australian development side. Ball down to Lambert. Lambert will score. The New Zealand development side returning the favour in November to go and play an Australian development side in some games in Melbourne. Hopefully those matches will be covered. If Qantas or any New Zealand are listening and would like to give me a free flight over, please do. I won't say no. 49-26. Talking about supporters and sponsors. Good head coming in from Foxley Connolly. Lloyd gets the ball off to Lynch, and Lynch is out of court. So it'll be turnover. Next international, talking about supporters and sponsors. New Zealand Wheelchair Rugby would like to thank these ones. Direct Group Uniforms, Christchurch City Council, Lynn River, Four Winds Foundation, Melrose Chairs, Powerfed Canterbury, Small Sports Events Fund, and supporters and sponsors of all New Zealand regional teams. Foxley Connolly adds another one to bring up the half century for the Australians. There with Hewitt. Hewitt fighting. Ball down to Richardson. Richardson down to Alexander. Is going to set up nicely. Clubs the ball over the back of his head and brings it forward with him. Fighting off Prucher, and Foxley Connolly gets the ball off to Hewitt, and that's a really good team try there by the Kiwis. As another running repair there being done to Robin Lambert. I think it's their third or fourth equipment timeout that's needed. Coach's timeout being called by Australia. They're second. Jason Lee's in there just giving out the orders. They've only used one 30-second timeout. So I think they've used the 60-second timeout so they can roll some subs on. Graham, Jackson, Fawcett and Foxley Connolly on. Sarah Ward, Jacinta Richardson, Levi Mihaka and Robbie Hewitt on for New Zealand. Ball up and over, and there with Squiddy, Jaden Jackson, Eminem, Slim Shady, 51-27, Hewitt has it. Hewitt looking for some support. Foxley Connolly just being a nuisance. Hewitt pushing. Does well to stay on court. Richardson, ball up and over. Bounces over Squiddy. Now Mihaka has it. Hewitt chops it on and will go out of court. It'll be Australian ball. Bit of ping pong stuff there going on. Late stages with just under 3 minutes to play in the last period of game one of this development series. There's Nathaniel Toyoti coming on court there now for Levi Mihaka. No, sorry, for Sarah Ward. Ball to Foxley Connolly. Foxley Connolly forces off Hewitt. Fawcett stops him. And hits out of court. And it's a turnover. Some good defensive work there being shown by Alexander, showing why he was New Zealand Development Player of the Year at Nationals. Reminder, if you'd like to see some still photos of Nationals in this tournament, in this development series, go to l.exton. It's L for Lima. L for Lima.exton photography, Instagram and Facebook. Some great shots of the sport that she took as well. was also asked today what other sports I do. I do club rugby. I've got a game for New Zealand Rugby coming up this weekend. The under 85 kg National Club Cup semi-final between Commentator and Christchurch High School Old Boys. We're making the trip up. As Foxley Connolly adds another to his total. Hewitt gets the ball from Alexander. Richardson just can't hang on, but it might set up very well. It does. She just tips it on though. And Foxley Connolly's going to force the turnover. I've done Special Olympics Summer Games last year. Goalball, which is a vision impaired sport. Couple of those tournaments. An interesting sport to cover as well. Cricket. Trying to get hold of a Auckland club cricket or counties or someone that would like the club season live streamed. Please get in touch with me if you're watching and are interested. Bev's Broadcasting. You'll find my contact details on Facebook. As it is a 12-second violation. Hewitt just not being able to get that ball away over half, and it'll be a turnover. Graham has it. Then a Foxley Connolly. Hit there coming in from Alexander, as Jaden Jackson does well from stopping Richardson. 54-27, 1 minute 28 left in this period, and in this first game of the development series. Big thanks to Zion, who's done my camera work for me this morning. Enabled me to sit back and do the commentary as well as the score and time, although I must say my score and time hasn't been probably as good as it was on the weekend. It's okay. 54-28, 26 ball game. There's Foxley Connolly. Off to Graham. Graham has it. 50 seconds to play. Ball up and over to Squiddy. Jaden Jackson will sit there and he's just going to waste some time, is he? No, he won't. He'll score. Alexander looks for Richardson. Alexander originally from Thames in the Coromandel Peninsula, about 20-minute drive from me. Now lives in Kitty Rye, Hamilton. There with Foxley Connolly, who gets his arms in the way and prevents New Zealand scoring another one. And Jackson will score. Richardson to Hewitt. Hewitt and Graham fighting. Graham trying to force a held ball. Can't. Inside the last 10 seconds. Richardson picks the ball up really well there from the ground. 3, 2, 1. And Tweedy can't hang on. And that'll be it. Game 1 of the development series done here. It is the Australians winning 56-28. We'll be back at 12:20 with the live stream of Game 2. That game in an hour 30 for tip-off at 12:30 PM New Zealand time. Until then, folks, ka kite anō, sorry.